Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our daily gratitude call. I'm excited for what we get to learn today. Lots of things that were shared before we started our recording had to do with love. God's love, people being inclusive, family, a loving circle of friends, loving myself. And I definitely wanted to have something about love, but it didn't feel right to say, any specific kind of love or, you know, uh, call it unconditional love or anything like that, because there's so many different types of love and we're all at so many different levels of love, how we love ourselves, how we receive love in, how we give love, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to leave it general and just say gratitude for love. And we'll just get to see what comes up from that. So I invite you to be really open. I'm going to set a timer for 90 seconds and just be really open to what you get to receive, your own personal inspiration on this subject. And so just private silent meditation, gratitude for love, and write down whatever comes to you. Begin. All right. I had an experience come back to me that I haven't thought of for decades. When I was in fifth grade, I had it bad for a sixth grader. And my brother was in sixth grade, and one of his friends, I just thought he was like the cutest thing ever. And I remember writing him a note. I think I wrote, do you love me? Yes or no? And told my brother to give it to him. And that thought came back to me, and could actually even like picture him walking from the lunchroom back to his classroom carrying he was in music class and carrying some kind of horn instrument, a trombone or something, I don't know, whatever he played. And I remember him carrying that. I could just like picture that. And our eyes met as we were passing each other, and we were so scared to even say anything. We didn't even say anything. We just kept walking. And that note, I was kind of opened my mind to like, why did I write a note? Why didn't I, what was that all about? Why are you so scared, when you're like in that situation, to not just go up to somebody and say, hey, do you like me? I like you. But I realized that my best friend knew that I liked him. And she knew that I had written the note. In fact, she probably even suggested that I write it. And I wanted to open that note in her presence. I didn't want to ask him out loud, and I didn't want to, hand him the note myself, because I wanted to be in the presence of my best friend when I opened the note, just in case he had circled no. And that just, brought love into my heart for my best friend, because I knew that regardless of what the answer was, she was going to still love me. And that was just kind of a cool aha, that there are some people who love us regardless of, the shame or guilt we might be feeling in the moment, the rejection that we might be feeling, which all are illusions, by the way. But I'm just grateful for those special friends and family members or whoever that we can open those notes, and even if it says no, they're going to still love us. Who else has something they'd like to share?
I'd love to share because I really love this topic.
Thanks, Phil.
And I think of Marianne Williamson, Return to Love, and she says, that there really are only two motivating factors in our life, and one is fear and the other one is love.
Mm-hmm.
You take it and you compare it to light and darkness, and the love and fear, like when you shine a light into the darkness goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with love and fear. When you shine love into fear, then the fear goes away. And you can solve any kind of problem that you're having, any kind of fear or doubt that you have coming up, if you'll fill your heart full of love and act in love whenever it is you make that decision to whatever it is. You need to confront somebody, or if you need to, confront yourself, then if it's done in love, then all it can do is good. That's all it can do. And it will help you, like light, like shining a flashlight into the darkness. The darkness doesn't comprehend it, and it dissipates. So.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. A couple of thoughts. I love that statement that you said, confront myself in love. Whenever we go to ourselves, giving ourselves feedback, I think a lot of times we're really hard on ourselves, especially if we haven't quite gotten to that point where we feel, just that ultimate Christ-like love for ourselves. But to confront ourselves when we have blind spots or when we have limiting beliefs or whatever, to confront ourselves in love and not in like that shame and guilt, like I was mentioning before. And I also love what you were talking about with like the different, shining the light on the fear. And I know in our Lord's Way to Wealth Mastermind, we've been talking about in Think and Grow Rich, Chapter 11, the mystery of sex transmutation. And there's a list of things that will actually put you in a state of the highest creative imagination. And the very first one is love. If we can find ourselves in love, we actually propel ourselves into the highest level of creation, which is that creative imagination. So there's a lot of power there. Thank you. Who else?
I have something I'd like to share.
Thanks, Mandy.
You're welcome. When we started doing the writing and the personal time, I was thinking about who I am, and I could see like this beautiful individual, and it meant so much to me because it's so easy for me to take and see the good in other people and what they're doing, but I'm so busy that sometimes I forget to take the time to see the beauty that I have and that I bring to other people. And so that was beautiful for me to have the opportunity to see the value that I have and what I bring to other people's lives.
Beautiful.
And to myself.
Beautiful. Thank you. I've actually had that experience over the last, I would say the last week, where, I know that I provide value and everything, but I had some doubt about, you know, the anyway, I won't go into a lot of detail. I had a doubt about myself and the way that I was presenting myself and my content, my message, you know, and inspiring people. And rather than like quitting or saying, oh, it's just not good enough, you know, or whatever, I knew that it was sort of like shining that light onto the fear, like Phil was talking about. I knew that it was true, that I provide something really great. And then for that time period, I just wasn't seeing it. And so rather than succumbing to the darkness, I actually allowed myself to sit in the darkness until and asking for the light, you know, to be shined on me there. And because of that, I was able to, because I took that time to see the beauty within myself, to find it, to ask for God to show it to me. Then I could take a picture of my whiteboard. It's completely covered with like a new plan that's super authentic to me and feels really good and exciting. And I just needed to go into that darkness for just a moment and ask for the light to be shined in that dark place that had emerged. So I love that idea of just knowing that there's beauty in there and to take the time to see it. And I want to just say one last thing that I neglected to say as I was talking about like getting yourself into that creative imagination. That love motivates through fear. So just like you were talking about, Mandy, if there's some fear that we have inside that we're not good enough or not pretty enough or not pretty enough on the inside, you know, or whatever, that if we take the time to see that beauty, love ourselves through that fear, on the other side is like, well, I just realized I got into that creative imagination space. So there is like something really powerful on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's get maybe one or two more shares.
I was just thinking that when I was doing the meditation, and maybe this isn't that significant, but it just clicked in my brain or something in a way that was significant for me, that when we serve, and it was similar to what you already said, that when we serve in a way that's true and authentic to ourselves, we give of our gifts in abundance so that others can really feel that spirit of abundance and love, and that creates a different vibration that people desire, and so it is more inviting.
Wow, beautiful. I don't think that's anything that has been shared yet, Tyree, about how we have the power to actually give love, and so that others feel that vibration of love and abundance. When we give abundance and love, then they're going to feel that too. Thank you. Who else?
What came up for me was just to trust God's love and know that everything that's happening right now in my life is out of His love for me and wanting me to learn all that's necessary.
Thank you. I know as parents, we love our kids so much, and we encourage them to do things sometimes that they don't want to do, because we love them and we want them to grow up to be good, upstanding individuals and happy and be able to make great choices and all those things. So a lot of times, if we're open to it, we can always feel God's love, and we know that we can trust God in all things, in everything that happens, you know, everything that He brings to us is because He loves us. So super powerful thought. I know sometimes we rebel against that because it's not exactly what we want, kind of throw a tantrum, but it's really good to go back to that truth that He loves us, and everything that He does is because He loves us. Thank you. It says in the scriptures somewhere that He in Christ only can bring light and love. They cannot, it's impossible for them to bring anything else. Let's go ahead and shift over to our permission process. I think this is a really great space to just shift into taking a deep breath and connecting with God, knowing that we can trust. We know that He only brings light and love and peace. Take a deep breath and just envision that there is a column of light that extends all the way from the crown of your head all the way up to heaven. And this channel of light is a communication channel, and it also is a way for us to feel love and light, inspiration. And we can also send gratitude, love, questions, whatever it is. It's a two-way communication. And just feel that warmth and light permeate the top of your head and just fill you up, your head and your neck and your shoulders, and down into your heart. And that your heart pumps this light and love and warmth through every fiber of your being, every cell, all the blood vessels, the nerves, the organs, everything, that you're completely filled with God's love, light, inspiration. And in this enlightened state, I invite you to be open to feel God's love. And just give yourself a moment to feel that light and warmth and the authenticity of it. There's a lot of counterfeit versions of love that we feel on earth. This is a heavenly love that comes from our earth, or from our heavenly home, that we were a part of a family before we came to earth. And just feel the authentic, pure love where no limiting beliefs exist, where all there is love. No darkness exists, no fear exists. Everything is just pure love. And as you're noticing that feeling of pure love, also be open to know if there is a limiting belief coming up for you about receiving the love or trusting the love or whatever it is, believing that there is that kind of love available for you. Whatever the limiting belief is, just be open to know what that is and write it down. You're going to allow that limiting belief to be in this space for just a moment. We know that God loves us through all things, and He shines the light on darkness. So no darkness doesn't affect Him at all. That love is still just as strong through that darkness. And as you're becoming more clear with that limiting belief, I invite you also to notice where that limiting belief came from within your body. That there was a space in your body that it had settled into. And just allow yourself to know where that is in your body. And notice the feeling associated with that limiting belief. If there's a heaviness, or if there's it's just a stuck feeling, or maybe that light that you'd allowed to fill your whole body, maybe that one area just wasn't willing to receive the light. Whatever that feeling is, take note of that, and also where that feeling, where that limiting belief was sitting in your body. And if it serves you after this call, you might even look at the metaphysical meaning of that area of your body. If it was your right finger, if it was your chest, if it was your gut, wherever it was, if it serves you, you can look at the metaphysical meaning of that area of your body, and that might give you some insights into where that limiting belief originated. Let's just notice right now where that was sitting. And we've written it down on paper, so now it has a physical outlet, a way to be able to get outside of your body onto this piece of paper. And allow yourself to feel gratitude for that limiting belief. Allow yourself to be fully aware of possibly how this limiting belief was serving you, keeping you safe in the past, even though it is rooted in darkness. Sometimes, or always, I would say, these limiting beliefs at one point in our lives did serve us to help us feel safe. But now you get to ask the question, is it still serving me? And if that limiting belief is not still serving you, you can give yourself permission to choose a new belief to replace it. And if you're ready to give yourself permission to replace that limiting belief, say yes.
Yes.
Awesome. And so what are some new beliefs? We now know what the limiting belief is. And now you can actually choose some new beliefs that will take the place of it. So take a look at like maybe what the opposite is of that limiting belief. And if that serves you, write that down. If you look at the opposite of that limiting belief and you're like, oh, I'm not quite ready to believe that 100%, that's okay. You can downgrade it just slightly and choose something different. Like if you can't say to yourself 100% authentically, I love myself, you could say, I'm seeking to love myself. I'm choosing to love myself. I believe that it's good to love myself. There are lots of lower, just like baby steps that you can choose that will get you on the path and that will definitely be an upgrade from that limiting belief. So whatever those new beliefs are, write those down and just know that this is an improvement, and feel the love and the warmth, that the love for yourself that you have for yourself because you chose to change this, and also feel the love of God being infused into these new beliefs, and then bring them inside of you. Allow your awareness to take those and to fill that space up in your body that used to house the limiting belief, and notice the change in your body. Take one more deep breath. And as this new, enlightened individual, empowered with new beliefs, endowed with love, gratitude for the limiting belief, and also even more gratitude that you had the power to change it, and just feeling that complete wholeness that was created as you let go of something that wasn't serving, you brought something back in that does serve now. And being in that space of wholeness, what is the one most important thing that you could do today that would really anchor in this feeling of wholeness, that would sort of give you evidence or proof that there is love that's evident in your life? What is your inspired shortcut today? And just allow that to be shown to you. Allow your inspiration to show you what the next step is, what your inspired shortcut is today, rather than trying to figure it out. Just allow the love that you're feeling, the wholeness that you're feeling, that warmth and light of God's love that you're feeling inside of you, allow that to be the catalyst to show you what your inspired shortcut is today. And I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be super simple. It will be very doable. You can do it you can at least start it within 5 minutes after this call's over. And just trust that. Anchor in that feeling of love, warmth, light, and the commitment to follow through with your inspired shortcut. And then when you're ready, you can come back present. Now that you have anchored this in, and this is your number one most important priority today. So we have probably just like 2 or 3 minutes to share. Who would like to share something? Oh, let me just share also, if there's anybody that feels like they need some extra support in this area, I would love to have a conversation with you. And all you have to do is just go to askwylene.com. That will take you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule a call with me. Free mentoring call, 15 minutes, and excited to connect with you about whatever it is that you need support with. So we have time for, we have about 2 or 3 minutes that we can share. Who has something they'd like to share about our call, the call today?
I just realized more fully in this meditation that I have been receiving exactly the mentoring and the people in my life that I need to be in full alignment and to take the next steps in becoming who I can be and my best self.
Wow, beautiful. What a great awareness. Thank you. Beautiful. Who else?
Wileen,
Mm-hmm.
I have just been, having such a heavy heart with all the things that are going on in the world. And I've just been so touched by all the acts of love of people who have, stood up for a good cause and for loving humanity. And I think when we seek out the negative, then we'll find it. And when we seek out the positive, we'll find it. And just being that light is kind of what stuck out to me today
Beautiful.
as I was meditating.
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. And what I, feel and see is that heavy heart being replaced by being touched by the acts of love. And, when you're talking about allowing light to be present, and, how we talked about earlier, that our love that we send out, that radiates out and others can feel it. And if we have a heavy heart, it really diminishes our ability to send something out that's going to be positive. If we only have heavy, we can only send out heavy. That's what people are going to feel. So I love your awareness that was created, and that now you're going to focus on that positive, those acts of love, and allow that light to fill your heart instead of that heaviness. Thank you.
I have one more thing.
Okay.
Did you circle yes or no?
Yes.
Yay!
Oh, say that again. Oh, did he circle yes or no? I thought you were asking me if I said yes, that you could say one more thing. Yes, he did circle yes. So thank you. That's the rest of the story.
I was like, she's leaving us hanging.
Thank you. Scott, I see that you're unmuted. Did you have one last thought before we end our call today?
Sure. Inspired is to continue writing and recording it in my new belief that even though I am weak and mistakes don't mean that God doesn't want me to help others. My belief is that I can continue to help and serve because it's through the experiences I have that I can share to help others.
Wow, so powerful. Finding gratitude in your experiences and using those as a catalyst to serve. How powerful. Well, thank you all for everyone who has shared, for everybody who's been on this call. Thank you also if you're listening on the podcast. Appreciate you all being with us in this wonderful love fest of the gratitude call. I also encourage you to go to our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude. We'd love to continue this love fest there, and super excited to see what we get to learn this week. With us starting out the week on a note of love, it's just like the sky's the limit. And how I mentioned before that love is the number one way that we project ourselves into this space of creative imagination. So I invite you to be open every single day to what you get to learn. If you've had a problem that needs solution, you're in the space right now. This is the kind of a catalyst that really allows those solutions to come to mind. And they're usually things that you would never think of on your own. So just be open for that, because we've opened the space for that today. Love you, and excited to get back together tomorrow at 7 a.m. Mountain Time right here. Thank you.
Thanks, Wileen.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.